Hello and welcome to SSLC Social Science online classes presented by Sri Sharda Mahila Vidya Samasthe Ellampalli. In this video, we will learn about India natural disasters of geography, social science. The major learnings which are intended for the examination purpose in this video are related to meaning of natural disasters, causes, effects and the distribution of natural disasters, and preventive measures. Various preventive measures are related to natural disasters. These are all the things which we will be learning from this unit. As you are aware, natural hazards which create widespread destruction are known as natural disaster. Let me repeat the definition again. Natural hazards which create widespread destruction are known as natural disasters. Even though there are many natural disasters are there in India, like avalanches, landslides, floods, cyclones, landslides, coastal soil erosion, earthquakes, many more natural disasters are there, like volcanoes, tsunamis. But for the examination purpose, we will focus on 5 important natural disasters. They are cyclones, floods, landslides, soil erosion, that is coastal soil erosion, and earthquakes. These are all the 5 important natural disasters which are important for the examination purpose. Let me repeat these names again: cyclones, floods, landslides, coastal erosion, and earthquakes. Let us see what is there on the screen. Learnings, as I told you already. Natural disaster. The natural hazards which create widespread destruction are known as natural disasters. Examples for natural disaster are earthquakes, volcanoes, tsunamis, landslides, cyclones, coastal erosion, floods, and avalanches. But for the examination purpose, as I already mentioned, we will be studying about the cyclones, floods, landslides, coastal erosion, and the earthquakes. Let us begin with the cyclones. So in the cyclone, the wind or the air blows spirally inward towards the center of a low pressure. Let us see the image so that you will get an idea. See, here is an image of a cyclone. In a cyclone, the wind blows spirally inwards towards the center of low pressure. So when the low pressure takes place in the sea, the wind blows spirally inward towards the center of low pressure, which is called as a cyclone. This disaster is associated with the atmosphere, and the most dangerous and destructive natural disaster which is related to atmosphere. Atmosphere related most dangerous destructive natural disaster is a cyclone. In this cyclone, there are 2 major types. They are tropical cyclones and temperate cyclones. Let me repeat again: tropical cyclones and temperate cyclones. In India, most of the time we experience tropical cyclones are experienced in India, and they are more common in our country. Examination purpose, there may be a blank is asked. The most common cyclones in India are dash. So in that case, we need to say it is a tropical cyclones. Now let us try to understand the causes for cyclone. What causes cyclone in our country? See, the major causes for or major reasons for cyclone are 3. They are high pressure, second one is calm air, and third one is highly saturated air. Let me repeat the causes again. First one is high temperature, second one is calm air, and third one is highly saturated air. These are all the three major causes or reasons for cyclone. Let us see them on the screen. Yeah, it is right. High temperature, calm air and highly saturated air. These conditions result in the development of a low pressure center. Relative high pressure prevails around the low pressure, so the winds blow spirally inward the center of low pressure, causing cyclones. Such conditions are found in tropical zones, especially over the seas. See, these are all the three things which creates a low pressure center, and relatively consequently high pressure around the low pressure center. These situations, these conditions are commonly found in tropical zone, especially over the seas. Okay, that's why I told you these kind of tropical cyclones are commonly seen in our country India. I hope you are clear about the causes of cyclones. Let us understand the effects of cyclones. What are the major effects of the cyclone? As I already mentioned, the cyclones are more dangerous and very destructive ones. They causes loss of life and poverty. Sorry, they causes loss of life and property. People will lose their lives, they lose their property, and the cyclones also damage the transportation and communication system of the country. They also destroy the buildings, they disrupt the power supply of the nation, they destroy the crops, they destroy the vegetation of the people, they damage the animals' lives too. These are all the important effects of a cyclone. Let me repeat again, the cyclones are destructive and it causes loss of life as well as property of the people. They destroy the buildings, they damage the transportation and communication system of the country, they disrupt the power supply, they destroy the crops, they destroy the vegetation of the people, and they damage the animals' life also. Vegetation means the areas where people lives are called it as vegetation. It is not a non-veg and vegetarian food, it is vegetation where people lives. These are all the effects of cyclone. Let's see them on the screen again. Yeah, tropical cyclones are very destructive. The causes are two causes: loss of life and property, damage to buildings, damage to transports and communication system, disrupt power supply, destroy crops, destroy vegetation, damage to animals, etc. These are all the major effects of cyclone. Now let us understand the distribution of these cyclones. In which area, which are the major prone areas to these cyclones. See, as you are aware, the low pressure which is created in Bay of Bengal, we also studied this in India's weather, India climate lesson also we have studied the same issue. The low pressure which is caused in the Bay of Bengal, the eastern coast of India, the eastern coastal states which are there in our country will experience this cyclone, especially the states of West Bengal, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. These are all the four states which are there in eastern coastal area of India. They experience these cyclones more often, but very few cyclones from Arabian Sea. So when the cyclones take place in Arabian Sea, the states which are there in western coast of India experience the cyclones like the states of Gujarat, Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu. So Tamil Nadu is the worst affected state by cyclones, because even there are problems from Arabian Sea also. The Tamil Nadu state experience cyclones. Even there are cyclones from Bay of Bengal also experience. Tamil Nadu state experience cyclones. From both the ends, Tamil Nadu is what do you say, cyclone prone area. It is cyclone prone state. It is. I hope you are clear about the distribution of this cyclones. As I already mentioned, we discussed about these things. Northeast monsoons, which are the during this time the eastern coast of India experience the cyclone. During southwest monsoon, the western coast of India experienced the cyclone. Both coastal areas, eastern as well as western coastal areas experience the cyclones, but however the eastern coastal area is more prone to the cyclones. During October and November are the severe cyclonic months in our country, but very less in May and June month. We need to remember these months. During October and November, high severe cyclones are experienced by our country, but during May and June, very, what do you say, minor cyclones are experienced by our country. I hope you are clear about distribution of the cyclones. So these are all the things which are there in the textbook. Let me read it for you. In India, most of the tropical cyclones developed in the Bay of Bengal. Hence, the eastern coast is more prone to cyclones. It includes the coastal areas of Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Odisha and West Bengal. Only a few cyclones develop in Arabian Sea. Tropical cyclones occur mainly in India during the northeast monsoon season. October and November are known for severe cyclones. Few cyclones occur in the month of May and June. I hope you are clear about the distribution of cyclones. Now let us see, sir, we are experiencing these cyclones, sir. How do we prevent these cyclones? See, these cyclones are totally caused by nature. It is a natural phenomenon. We don't have any ability and we don't have any capacity to prevent these cyclones, as it is in the under the control of nature. Only thing is we should be able to know the warnings before the cyclone happens. We should be able to know the warnings and the signals given by the nature. We need to get the information through the communication and communication of the country. Then we have to save our lives during the cyclonic conditions. As I already mentioned, the cyclones are not there in our control. They are totally natural ones, natural phenomenon. We don't have any ability to prevent them. The only way is we will be knowing about the warnings given by the nature. Based on that, we have to escape and we have to save our lives. I hope you are clear about the cyclone topic. In case if you have any doubts related to cyclone, kindly ask the questions, type the questions, give us the suggestions. Let's move on and see the next topic related to floods. So flood means refer to the inundation of land by river water. When the rivers overflows, more number of water flown by rivers, which causes these floods. Let's see what is there on the screen. Yeah, I have given an image of floods also for the better understanding purpose. Flood refer to the inundation of land by river water. It is a recurring disaster in India. One part of the country or the other has to face floods almost every year. Each and every year in our country we experience this natural disaster, especially North Karnataka. We experience this sort of floods each and every year, and in the state of West Bengal, Mumbai, we experience floods. Not only these states, each and every part, either in one part or other part, we experience this floods due to inundation of land by river water. Overflow of the water causes these floods. Let us see the causes for floods. Why the floods takes place in our country? So someone is guessing the answer correctly. There are some natural causes for floods and there are some man-made factors also reasonable for this. Nature also is reasonable for floods and man also reason for this floods. What are those natural factors which cause these floods? So as you are well aware, like when we have melting of snow takes place in the mountains, melting of snow, then heavy rainfall, tropical cyclones, cloud burst, blockage of the free flow of river and water, and silting of river beds are the important natural factors which causes the floods. Let me repeat these causes, natural factors or natural causes for the floods. As I already mentioned, melting of snow, heavy rainfall, tropical cyclones, blockage of the free flow of water, cloud burst, and silting river beds are the main important natural factors for the floods. And man-made causes are we are doing it regularly. Faulty irrigation and agriculture practices and methods what man does, and breaching of barrages, then rapid urbanization, and we are constructing like buildings and doing so many construction works. Then afforestation, we are doing the afforestation task. These are four are important man-made causes for floods. Let us see these causes on the screen. Yeah, causes, floods causes. Floods are caused by both natural and man-made factors. The natural factors include heavy rainfall, melting of snow, tropical cyclones, cloud burst, blockage of the free flow of the river water, silting river beds. Man-made causes are deforestation, faulty irrigation and agriculture practices, breaching of barrages, rapid urbanization. These are the main important man-made and natural factors for floods. And what are the effects can caused by these floods? See, as we studied in the previous case of cyclone, the floods also causes loss of life and property. They also damage crops and vegetation. They break down the transportation and communication system. They destroy the power supply system. They dislocation of transportation system. They causes a huge amount of soil erosion and disruption of essential services to the mankind. These are all the effects caused by the floods. Let us see them on the screen. Effects: floods causes loss of life and property, damage to crops, vegetation, etc., breakdown of communication and power system, dislocation of transport system, soil erosion, disruption of essential services, etc. These are all the main effects of floods. There are cases where 2-mark question asked related to this. Kindly remember this point. And most of the time all the effects of all the natural disasters are common. You need to aware about these effects. Let's see the areas or distribution of these floods. When we study about major physiographic divisions of India, we learnt about river systems of India also. In river system we come across with the Ganga, Brahmaputra and Sindhu river systems. We studied about peninsular river system. When you are aware about this, the Ganga, Brahmaputra and Sindhu river system, or we also call it as Himalayan river system, and other one is the peninsular river system. If you know this two river systems, it is very easy to answer these questions, because most of the time the areas which are close to these rivers, the Ganga, the Brahmaputra, the Sindhu and the peninsular rivers like Godavari, Kaveri, Krishna, Mahanadi. Then we have others rivers like these rivers like Kaveri. All these areas experience these floods. Let us see the information on the screen. Flood prone areas are distribution of floods in our country. Yeah, the first point, the Ganga and the Brahmaputra river basins, they cover a part of Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal and Assam. So as I already mentioned, if you know the Himalayan river system and peninsular river system, very easy to answer to this question. The second one, the Satluj, the Bias, the Ravi and the Jhenab, these are the tributaries of Sindhu river. These river basins, they include Jammu and Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh experience floods due to these four tributaries of Sindhu. In peninsular India, the deltaic areas of river basins, that is deltaic regions of Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri rivers. They include Odisha, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh and also Karnataka. Karnataka also we experience floods due to Krishna river. Dear friends, as I already mentioned, if you know the peninsular river system, east flowing rivers and west flowing rivers, here they have given east flowing river names. Mahanadi is east flowing river, Godavari is east flowing river, Krishna is east flowing and Kaveri is also east flowing river. Here you need to remember all the birthplaces of these rivers, where they take birth, where they rise, and the longest river of South India, that is Godavari. You need to recall all the lessons which I taught you related to river system of India. Let's move on the fourth one. The lower parts of Narmada and Tapi river basins in, that is Gujarat. In peninsular India, floods are occasional. They are due to sudden heavy rainfall. Other than these river basins, other areas of peninsular India experience floods occasionally, very rare, only because of sudden rainfall. So other reasons are very less for floods. I hope you are clear about the flood prone areas of India. It is entirely related to river system. If you remember river system, very easy to answer to this flood prone areas. Now see the flood control measures. Say how we can control floods. So what are the measures we need to take? What are the steps we need to take in order to control the floods? See, as we mentioned in the causes, if you know the causes, very easy to write the measures. We need to stop deforestation, which means afforestation in the catchment area, which helps in the reduction of runoff. We need to grow more and more trees in the catchment areas. Then we need to construct a dam across the river and strong water in reservoirs. Construct more and more dams in order to stop the strong flow of the water, and we need to reduce the volume of water and help to provide water for irrigation. So we should not store more and more water volumes in the reservoirs, that is also dangerous. And we also need to construct embankments of protection against the inundation of the inhabited areas and agriculture land. Embankments means ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಒಡ್ಡುಗಳನ್ನು ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಂತ. ಡ್ಯಾಮ್ಸ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಇವು ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಅಣೆಕಟ್ಟೆಗಳು ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ಅಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಅರಣ್ಯೀಕರಣ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಅರಣ್ಯಗಳನ್ನು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಬೆಳೆಸಬೇಕು, ಅಣೆಕಟ್ಟುಗಳನ್ನು ಕಟ್ಟಬೇಕು, ಒಡ್ಡುಗಳನ್ನು ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ದೆನ್ ಫ್ಲಡ್ ಫೋರ್ಕಾಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅರ್ಲಿ ವಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ವಿ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ದಿ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದಿ floods when it is going to happen. If you tell the people, so they will easily save their lives, and they will also shift their vegetation from one place to another place. So let us see these flood control measures on the screen. Yeah, afforestation in the catchment area, which helps in the reduction of runoff. Second one, construction of dams across the rivers and strong of water in reservoirs. Storing of water in reservoirs, it reduces the volume of water and helps to provide water for irrigation, etc. Construction of embankments for protection against inundation of the inhabited areas and agricultural land. Flood forecasting and early warning. This is essential for taking a timely action to prevent loss of human life, livestock and property. I hope you are clear about this concept flood, meaning of the flood, causes for the flood, effects of the flood, distribution of flood and preventive measures of the flood. Let us see the next topic which is related to landslides. Important one, landslides. The sliding of land mass along steep slopes of hills or mountains is called landslides. Let me repeat the definition again. The sliding of land mass along steep slopes of hills or mountains is called landslides. See, this kind of natural disasters usually takes place in hilly and mountain areas. In ordinary areas, this kind of landslides very rarely took place, but the areas where we have the mountains and the areas where we have hill stations, that's where we experience this landslide problem. Let's see the definition on the screen. Yeah, here I have given an image. See how it is destructive, how it is destroyed the transportation system and roads due to this landslide. The sliding of landmass along steep slopes of hills or mountains is called landslides. It involves downward sliding or falling of a mass of soil, rock and debris or combination of these under the force of gravity. This is what happens when the landslides take place. Sometimes mass of soil will fall down, or sometimes rocks and debris. Sometimes combination of both soil and rocks will takes place downward. They move towards downward or sliding or falling due to force of gravity. This is called the landslide. Kindly have a look at this image. Now let us understand the causes for landslide. As already mentioned, when we studied about floods, the causes are both man-made and natural. For landslide also there are natural reasons and there are man-made reasons. We will consider both natural forces and human forces. The natural causes for the landslides are very important. Undercutting of the slope, as in sea wave erosion of a sea cliff, earthquakes and heavy rainfall. When there is a coastal soil erosion take place and when earthquakes and heavy rainfall takes place, we experience this landslides. Both these three are caused by nature. Then the human factors, human forces, human causes for landslides are, as you are well aware, deforestation, construction of dams, construction of rivers, construction of idle power projects, doing mining activities, doing quarrying activities, deforestation. These are all the main human reasons for the landslide. Let us see these points on the screen. Causes for landslides. Both natural and human induced forces causes landslides. Natural forces, undercutting of the slope, as in sea wave erosion of a sea cliff, earthquakes and heavy rainfall. Human forces, deforestation, construction of roads, construction of railway lines, construction of dams and reservoirs, idle power projects, mining, quarrying. These are all the main causes for landslides. And let us understand the effects of landslides. What are the effects of landslides? As I already mentioned, these all the natural disasters has similar kind of effects. Let us try to understand few of them which we have already studied. The landslides most of the time they block the railway lines, and if the people settlements are there very close to these landslides, it will burying of human settlements and vegetation, and it also damage the people life, people property, and road blockage will also take place due to landslides. These are all the main effects of landslides: blocking of roads, blocking railway lines, burying of human settlements and vegetation, loss of life and property, etc. Most of the time blockage of roads is the main effect of this landslides. When it happens next to the roads and railway lines, we experience this problem due to landslides. The next thing is about where these landslides usually takes place. Distribution of landslides in India. As I already mentioned, in India, landslides are occur very often in mountain areas or hill stations, like the states which has got hill stations and mountains, the states of like Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, and northeastern states, experience these landslides. So the next topic is preventive measures. How we can prevent these landslides? Is there any methods to prevent these landslides? Yes, there are important reasons are there, methods are there in order to prevent these landslides. Let's see them on the screen. See, these are all the distribution areas which are affected by landslides most of the time. Jammu Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, and northeast states. All these places, all these states are very close to hill stations. Yeah, preventive measures for landslides: slope reduction. We should not create unnecessary slopes. Prevention of rock falls along highways and other slopes. Avoiding of mining and quarrying activities near the steep slopes. Human settlements and building. We should not ask people to, what do you say, live life very close to steep areas and very close to mountains, because these classes they will lose their lives because of landslides. And we should not encourage the deforestation. We should encourage reforestation or afforestation. So these are all the preventive measures for the landslides. When there are more number of trees are there, they hold the soil like anything. They will not allow these landslides to take place, due to which the growing of trees, protection of nature is very, very important. I hope you are clear about landslides. As I already mentioned, in case you have any doubts related to landslides, kindly comment and ask as many questions as possible. I will try to answer your questions. Let us see the next topic. Next topic is related to coastal erosion. Coastal erosion, when people who have visited coastal areas, they might have noticed the sea waves will be striking to the coastal area with great force. Regularly that process will be taking on. The sea waves are frequently, regularly striking to the coast with great force. This regular process, constant process, leads to erosion of coasts. Let us see some image so that you will get an idea about what is this coastal erosion. See, here I have given an image. Due to the sea waves strike the coasts with great force, this constant process, regular process, leads to erosion of coasts. Hence, coastal erosion is the process of wearing away and removal of material along the coastline by wave action. See, coastal erosion means very simple. It is a process of wearing away and removal of materials along the coastline by wave action. Due to wave action, the removal of materials as well as wearing away of the soil is called it as a coastal erosion. I hope you understood the meaning, and kindly have a look at this image so that you will get a clear idea. Then one must ask, what are the causes for this coastal erosion? See, in India we have already studied about climate of India. So in that we have studied little bit about this climatic seasons of India. Now let us try and understand the causes for coastal erosion. So there are mainly three causes are there related to this coastal erosion. They are monsoon winds, tropical cyclones, and tsunamis. I am repeating these three reasons again: monsoon winds, tropical cyclones, and tsunamis. Let us understand them a little bit. Yeah, here is the causes: monsoon winds, tropical cyclones, and tsunamis. When we are studying about southwest monsoons, especially southwest monsoons, winds causes intensive coastal erosion along the west coast of India. Southwest monsoons, they cause coastal erosion in the west coast of India. Then during this season, like coastal states which are located in west coast of India, starting from Gujarat to Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. These are all the states which are mainly affected by this southwest monsoon coastal erosion. Coastal erosion takes place during this season, southwest monsoon season. So first reason is done. Then second cause is tropical cyclones, which we have studied already. Cyclone topic are destructive and mostly occur during the northeast monsoon season. During this season, east coast of India experience the problems. The lower pressure which takes place in Bay of Bengal is the main cause for this tropical cyclones, due to which east coastal area of India experience the problems, especially states which are there in east coast of India, starting from West Bengal to Tamil Nadu. West Bengal, Odisha, Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh. These are all the 4 states which suffer a lot due to tropical cyclones. You need to remember one thing: tropical cyclones affects the northeast monsoon. It takes place during northeast monsoon season, which affects the east coast of India. Then southwest monsoon, it affects the west coast of India and it causes coastal erosion. Both southwest monsoon as well as tropical cyclones causes coastal erosion in India. Then the last one is related to tsunami. So tsunami are largely waves generated by earthquakes due to due to tremendous pressure at the crust of the earth. The earthquakes happens. Tsunamis are large waves generated by earthquakes. The coastal erosion occurs due to tsunamis in India. Especially we experience this problem in islands of our country, the Great Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and we also experience this problem in Tamil Nadu state, especially tsunami. I hope you are clear about the causes of coastal erosion. Now let us see what are the effects of this coastal erosion. See, coastal erosion is one of the most dangerous natural disaster. When this happens, when the coastal erosion happens, the trees which are there, the buildings which are there next to the coastal area are damaged and washed away, and the railway lines, the transportation bridges along the coast area will be damaged. Whatever transportation bridges, whatever is there in the coastal area will damaged by coastal erosion, and coastal areas can remain flooded over a long period of time, requiring resettlement of people. So if the human settlements are there in coastal area, they experience floods due to coastal erosion. Let us see them on the screen. Yeah, coastal areas including trees and building can be washed away. The roads, railway lines, bridges etc. along the coast can be damaged. Coastal areas can remain flooded over a long period of time, requiring resettlement of people. These are the effects caused by coastal erosion. Now is there any preventive measures to this coastal erosion? Yes, there are some preventive measures. What we need to do is we need to construct protection walls, construct walls against this coastal erosion. Then groiners we can construct, and we can also do the breakwaters to protect the coastal area from the wave erosion. Then we need to restrict the people not to do the mining in the coastal areas, quarrying in the coastal areas, and we need to encourage people to plant the more and more trees along the coastal area. So these are all the important preventive measures to stop the coastal erosion. Let us see them on the screen. Constructing retention walls, groiners and breakwater to protect the coastal areas from wave erosion. Restrict sand mining in coastal areas. Planting of trees along the coast to stabilize the coastal dunes. So these are all the preventive measures which we need to take care in order to prevent the coastal erosion. Now we will be focusing on next important topic and important and very dangerous natural disaster, that is an earthquake. An earthquake. Let us understand the meaning of earthquake. An earthquake is a violent vibration in the earth's crust. Inside layer of the earth is called as a crust. When there is a violent vibration takes place in the earth's crust, due to which we experience an earthquake. An earthquake is a violent vibration in the earth's crust. It is one of the worst natural hazards which often result in disaster. Dangerous and worst natural disaster, it is an earthquake. Let us see the meaning of earthquake on the screen. Yeah, here I have given an image what can happen on the earth. It is an image of a road which is collapsed due to an earthquake. An earthquake is a violent vibration in the earth's crust. As I already mentioned, crust is the lower layer, inner layer of the earth. It is one of the worst natural hazards which often result in disaster. I hope you understood the meaning of earthquake. Let us see the causes for earthquake, due to which the earthquakes takes place. Most of the time, I think in the when we were studying about this climate and geography of India, I told you about plate movement. Inside plate movement and volcanic eruption, then faulting and folding, landslides, collapse of underground cave roofs of the inside the earth, then hydrostatic pressure of man-made water bodies like reservoirs. When we construct big dams and reservoirs on the earth, due to the pressure of these reservoirs, that can cause the collapse of underground cave roofs and the landslides which we have studied. These are all the various reasons for earthquakes or causes for the earthquakes. Let us see them on the screen. Earthquake occurs due to several causes such as plate movements, volcanic eruption, faulting and folding, landslides, collapse of underground cave roofs, hydrostatic pressure of man-made water bodies like reservoirs, etc. In India, most of the earthquakes that have occurred earlier were due to plate movement. So in India, we have experienced earthquakes most of the time due to plate movement. Inside of the earth, due to plate movement, we have experienced earthquakes, and these are some other causes for earthquakes. Now let's see what happens to us when earthquake takes place. See, as I already mentioned, due to this vibrant violent vibration at crust of the earth, what happen is most of the time on the earth surface we experience certain problems like cracking of ground surface, damage and destruction of buildings, railways, roads, power lines, telecom lines, bridges, dams, factories, loss of human life and animals' lives and property. The other effects are fires, landslides, disturbance in groundwater level, blockage and diversion of river course, destruction of forest due to fires, etc. So similarly, like each and every natural disaster causes gives same effects. Same effects are there. We need to remember these points. Each and every natural disaster causes loss to human life and property. They also damage the basic infrastructures which are there on the earth, like damage to buildings, railways, roads, power lines, telecom lines, bridges, dams, factories. So many things will be destroyed. But due to earthquake, we can see the cracks on the ground surface, and there are cases where we may experience the landslides due to earthquake. I hope you are clear about the effects of the earthquake. Now let's understand the distribution of earthquakes. How these earthquakes are distributed in our country, which are the major areas, important areas which are experiencing earthquakes in our country. See, based on this earthquakes effect, our country is divided into three major earthquake zones. I am repeating again, three major earthquake zones. They are the Himalayan zone, the Indo-Gangetic zone, and the peninsular zone. So it is also similar to our India physiographic divisions. We have northern mountains. Here it is in the same similar name. It is the Himalayan zone. Then we have the Ganga and the Indo and Gangetic zone and the peninsular zone. All these three regions we have studied in previous lessons of geography. The Himalayan zone where we see this Jammu Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh and Bihar states experience zone of maximum intensity earthquakes. Since this Himalayan zone is called as a zone of maximum intensity. I am repeating again, the Himalayan zone is called as a zone of maximum intensity. The states which are there in this Himalayan zone, which I have already told you, Jammu Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh and Bihar experience maximum intensity earthquakes. And the second one, the Indo-Gangetic zone. The Indo-Gangetic zone where you need to remember the Ganga flowing area and Indus river flowing area, where we come across with states of Rajasthan, Haryana, Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal. In these states we find these earthquakes. This zone is called as the zone of moderative intensity zone. The zone of moderative intensity zone. The first one, the Himalayan zone, is called as the zone of maximum intensity. The Indo-Gangetic zone is called as the zone of moderative intensity zone. The last one is the peninsular zone, so which includes all our islands. Here in earthquake classification, earthquake distribution classification, even our coastal areas and island places also included in the peninsular zone. In this the peninsular zone, it is called as the zone of minimum intensity. Here in very rare cases we experience earthquakes, hence this zone is called as zone of minimum intensity. The zone of minimum intensity. Next, I hope you are clear about the distribution of the earthquakes. Let us see them on the screen. Yeah, these are all the three major earthquake zones. They are the Himalayan zone is called as zone of maximum intensity. Second one, the Indo-Gangetic zone, it is also called as zone of moderative intensity. The third one, the peninsular zone, is also called as zone of minimum intensity. See how the next one is related to preventive measures. How we can prevent this earthquake? Is there a way to prevent this major earthquakes? Yes, there are areas where how we can ideas where how we can prevent these earthquakes. They are, we need to avoid what afforestation. We need to stop the deforestation task. We need to avoid the human settlements in the earthquake prone zones. Wherever the earthquakes are happening, we need to avoid human settlements. We need to stop the people not to stay, not to live in those areas where we are experiencing earthquakes. Then we also use a certain technology which is resistant towards the earthquakes. Follow or usage of earthquake resistance designs for the construction of buildings. We can use this method in order to stop the damages of earthquakes. We can also use building materials with high quality, and we need to avoid what do you say, multi-storied buildings. We need to stop the height of buildings. We need to construct very less floors. If you construct more than 15-20 floors, automatically the damage will be more. Hence we need to construct very less floors of buildings, and we need to use quality materials, use the earthquake resistant technology, and we need to stop the restriction of urban areas in the hilly stations, hilly areas. Okay, then we need to construct a large number of dams and reservoirs. Then we need to stop the deforestation and quarrying activities. Let us see this precautionary measures on the screen. Precautionary measures to prevent earthquakes: avoid the human settlements in the earthquake prone zones, follow earthquake resistant designs for the construction of buildings, use building materials of high quality and avoid high rise buildings, restrict diggings of deep wells for groundwater, restrict urban growth in the hilly areas with high seismic vulnerability. Seismic vulnerability means earthquake vulnerability. This is a technical term. Avoid the construction of large dams and reservoirs, stop deforestation and heavy quarrying activities. So these are the precautionary measures to prevent earthquakes. We are done with this all the 5 topics related to natural disasters. They are cyclones, floods, landslides, coastal erosion and earthquakes. We will have question and answers now. I need to take a minute break. Just wait for 1 minute time. I will have a sip of water and come back. We will have some question answers. You can also see those questions. Yeah, here is the questions. Let me take a minute break. Hi. Hi, I am back again. Let us try to answer these questions now and complete the video. Okay. Which is the most destructive atmospheric disaster? Yes, someone is saying right answer. It is a cyclone. Which Indian coast is the most cyclonic affected area? Yes. Yeah, your answer is right. It is the east coast. East coast. In which geographical are the earthquakes are rarely occurs? In which geographical area the earthquakes are rarely occur? Just now we completed. It is the peninsular zone. The peninsular zone. What is tsunami? What is a tsunami? I told you the definition. The tsunami is the large wave generated by earthquake. The tsunami is the large waves generated by earthquakes. What do you mean by natural disaster? Natural hazards which create a widespread destruction are called a natural disaster. Define cyclone. So what is cyclone? Someone is saying right answer. What it is actually? The wind blows how? Spirally inward towards the center of low pressure. Let me repeat again. The wind blows spirally inward towards the center of low pressure is called as a cyclone. Name the states which are worst hit by cyclones. Yeah, someone is guessing right answer. Yes, east coastal area states are worst affected states. They are West Bengal, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. So thanks for listening to this video completely. I request you to watch the videos completely. In case you need any support and help related to this lesson, kindly feel free to comment. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Bye.